Guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Nathan
and Tiana,
and we're back with another video. So in today's video we'll be talking about things that traditional straight people do or say that annoys LGBT people, right? So let's get right into the video.
So, guys, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Comment as you go along. Come along with us. Let us know if you are LGBT. Tell us how you feel when persons say these things or do these things. If you're straight, traditional straight, let us know as well. We keep saying traditional because you do have straight people within the LGBT community. So that is why we just wanna be politically correct when we say straight, traditional straight people. Yeah. So we're gonna try our best to do the says first and the do's after, because I think we have them all mixed up. So
okay, so the first say, you don't look lesbian or gay.
Or you're too pretty
or
to
you're
be
too pretty to be lesbian, or you're too cute to be gay. I mean, how does a lesbian look? How does a gay person look? I mean, people might be thinking that, I mean, a gay man is feminine, but you have gay men that are very masculine. What about the tops? Somebody you see a top, you might never know that the person is gay. Same lesbian, you have lesbians that are, when people talk about lesbian, they may be thinking about the butch. But what about the femme that are very feminine and them dress like girls? I mean, you would never know unless they say. So to say you don't look a particular way, that make no sense, because you can't look a particular. There's not a one look for anybody in the LGBT community.
It's sort of like saying you don't look like a teacher. You don't look like a nurse. If I'm not wearing my nurse clothes, I'm not gonna look like a nurse. Outside of work, I look like a girl. I look like a regular person.
A civilian.
I've seen. I know one of my teacher friend name. Big up yourself. Do to how every minute she posts her liquor and her weed and her cigarette and I say ropes to school. But she's a teacher. You can tell a woman that she don't look like a teacher because she smoke. She don't look like a teacher because she drink. So I think the same courtesy should be extended to LGBT people. We don't have a look. Some of us here we look the part. We look I don't even know what to call. We have that androgynous look, or we look taboo. Because anybody will have a bag of piercing and probably have black fingernail, like probably assume that your mind already say them this or them that and that. That is why I said look taboo. Some of us I use that term, but there is no look. I remember when I was at school, I always like women long skirts. I love real long skirt. I like to be covered. And there was some guy under the gazebo at UE, and I was saying I'm a lesbian. At the time I identified as a lesbian, and he's like, you don't look like a lesbian. So I said, what does a lesbian look like? And I think he was disrespectful to me. He says I'm too ugly for being a lesbian. But then you would have other persons who say you're too ugly for being straight. Look, there's no look. Okay? The difference between traditional straight people and LGBT people is just who or how we identify and who we have sex with. That's it. There's nothing else. There's no look. We can dress up and go to church and you never know that I sport. So let's go.
Number 2, what do you get from it?
Okay.
That's the next say. They say, what do you get from it? Like, I remember when I came out as when I came out as a lesbian to my mother, when I was identifying as a lesbian, she asked me when we get out of it. She asked me the question, what did I get out of it? And a lot of persons would normally ask me that for real. What am I getting out of it? I mean, what is not to get? And if I should ask traditional straight people, what do you get out of it? They may ask me why me ask them that, what me mean by that. I mean the same thing that we get out of everything that we do. is pleasure. Whether it's sexual pleasure or just fun pleasure or just pleasure. Pleasure doesn't necessarily mean sex. Pleasure just means that you're enjoying something. So whatever you do
happy
that
with
you
the person.
enjoy, it's you're getting pleasure from it. So all I have to say, we get pleasure from something because we're doing it because we're happy and it makes us happy. It gives us pleasure. What else you want to know?
Why did you choose to be gay? I think we've exhausted this question in many of our videos, but just in case this is the first video you're seeing from us, I don't think nobody chooses to be ridiculed. Nobody chooses to be discriminated against. Nobody chooses. If we had a choice, we would want to be happy with who we are without all of these other things that come with it. But nobody not choose this. You know, just this morning I got a call from a friend who was crying to me because she's a lesbian, and she and her mother have a type of relationship where her mother just doesn't get it, right? And she tried to do everything just to make her mother happy. You know, she started dating a guy, and she was there going on and on and on and on, and to minimize the hurt that she was experiencing because she's living a lie, she started to drink. A young girl, and she's just has her cup full right now. She's at the highest level of depression, and it broke my heart to hear her cry to me this morning. And I'm just looking at it like, nobody chooses this. Nobody knows why you that choose this. If I know that, or if I go traditional straight and my mother happy and and everything with that, I mean, I just do it, but it doesn't make me happy. This is what makes me happy. Being with a trans person right now makes me happy. You know, when I feel drink for quench the. You understand? Nobody not choose. People just love who they love. Just as how you don't choose to be straight, people don't choose to be gay. People don't choose to be lesbian. People don't choose to be trans. People just are. It just, when you start developing feelings for somebody, it just so happens that I'm a girl and I just started to develop feelings for a girl. Just as how you're a girl and you started to develop feelings for a guy. A cis guy. That's just how it happens. Nobody will say, oh, let me just go and choose. You have some persons that are unscrupulous, yeah, and that's why in everything and enough. But for many of us, we didn't choose nothing. This is just our reality in our real life.
I mean, if we chose, if it was a choosing game, though, we just choose. I mean, you would have a lot of persons that you would have less suicide from LGBT persons, that for sure. Because if you could choose to be, if you are identified as an LGBT person now, and you could choose to be non-LGBT, I mean, why would you kill yourself then? Why would there be such a high rate of suicide within the LGBT community? Why would, alright, put it this way, if it is a choosing ball game, why would you choose the latter? Why would you choose the part where you will go through pain, heartache, being ridiculed, discrimination? You go through heart, you go through a whole heap of pain. Nobody not choose pain, so that don't make no sense. That makes no sense. Nobody chooses that. If you had to choose between a smooth road and a hard road, I'm sure you'd want to choose a smooth road. You would choose it unless a somebody is sick in the head. I mean, I think if a sick in the head person would have still choose a smooth road. That's what I think, and it is facts.
The next thing that people say is, why are we taking over all the letters? So yes, this is another one that we would have exhausted in a previous video. We're not taking over all the letters. The short answer to this is that we're very inclusive, and we don't believe in excluding anybody. We even have allies in our acronym, and allies are cis heteronormative persons that support the community and believe in equal rights and justice, and actually advocate for equal rights and justice for LGBT people. So we're not taking over all the letters. We're very inclusive. Let's just leave it at that. The next say is, God did not make us that way.
Really? And that one is a lie. I mean, if you're going to put it that way, them say God know everything.
Before you were
before
formed.
you were made, or you were formed, or you were molded. God knew what you would do, what you would do, and He still made you. He still
caused
allowed you to do it. If it's a case where God didn't make you that way, then why would He do it? If you're saying that God didn't do it, then God wouldn't have allowed you to do a particular thing or be a part. If He didn't, He knew it. He could have changed it. He could have changed your course because He is the one that created you. He knew what you would do, what you would become. He knew your identity before you were even formed in your mother's womb. So that don't make no sense.
I just think a lot of people put a lot of stress on God. Poor God, not even a think about after them something where we are stressed about. You know, because when you look at it, can you honestly say that, you know, God caused everything for those? I don't know, but my interpretation of God is I think it's different from what a lot of people make him out to be. You have persons that don't even believe in God, yeah, and we have to leave those persons. We're not going to condemn them because we don't want them to condemn us. We don't want anybody to condemn us, so we're not going to condemn anyone. A lot of persons choose their path based on things that would have happened to them and their beliefs and how they interpret life and the world. And so persons that are atheists, they have their reasons for believing that there's no God. You know, we're not gonna be one to say, oh, there's a God, because we don't want anybody to come at us and say, oh, LGBT people shouldn't exist, you know. As I said, persons form their own opinion based on, you know, what they understand about the world, what they've learned, and how they interpret stuff. If God did not make us, who did?
Satan.
The people want to know. The only thing that the devil cannot do is breathe life. So definitely not him. So who made us? And if it is that, you'd say, my mother used to say, God will turn me over to a reprobate mind. Why would He do that to us? Remember, I know we're imperfect. We were made in sin. Why would He dangle stuff in our faces then, knowing that it is innate for us to choose wrong? For example, you know, just to why would He? Like, I always say, is it that God is deliberately trying to I don't look here, me now I'm blaspheming now. Look here, me go move on the pen and 20.
No, I want to add something.
Blaspheme because it just don't make no sense to me.
I want to add something, right? The tenant said God leave us to our commitment, right? And they said that at what time does God decide to leave it to our commitment, right? What happened to like everybody said they know said God give everybody chances to everybody. God give everybody the chance to
Baby, son in your head, come over so. Yeah.
So like I said, God give everybody the chance for repent. What about the persons that die young? What about the person that died before they were even born? What about all of them people there? Because the Bible said God made you and shaped in iniquity. You were born and shaped in iniquity, something like that. I mean, what happened to those persons? Like, this topic just have me thinking, right? So you mean God allowed those persons to die because of what? And what would happen to their soul if we're talking about if we're going to talk about heaven and hell, and the fact that if you die in sin, you're going to hell, and if you repent, what about the person that didn't get the chance to even repent because they were young babies? What about those people? Think about all that.
And we're gonna move on from this point, but I just want to say this and move on. We're not gonna dwell on it because it's technical. It's not as clear cut as it is, because if it was, then we'll all be on the same page. It's not that clear cut. It's not black and white. Anyway, they will tell you that children are not responsible for their sins until they reach 12. So if you die before 12, you're gonna ever straight. You're not responsible for no sins. So you never have to repent. This is what they'll use to combat your point. Then you have some people say, if you had a miscarriage or you die or whatever, them will also say God knows say you never did go come out to no good, so God did end it before. Look here,
God will go back on him word then.
That is why I'm
God
say.
will go back on him
That's
word.
why I'm saying it is a
sense.
very technical topic. It is very. We are move on. Cause I don't want to blaspheme God.
No, blaspheme, but that means that God will go back to them, man. Yeah, we're moving on, but God will go back on him.
There's just a lot of intricacies
We'll go back on him. And
everything.
them say God never lies, so that means and him never make mistake, whatever. So guess what? God will go back on him one word this, so we're gonna have to go back. Anyways, church.
Alright, next. Say, when are you going to have a baby? My grand, if it is a relative, but when you get 20, when you have a baby.
Never ask me that yet.
But people will. So first of all, for me, there is no time that one should be having a baby. There are lots of persons, male and female, cisgender, transgender, LGBTQIA, that do not want to have children, and that is okay. There's nothing written in the commandment that says that we should have children. Yes, they say that God say must multiply, replenish the earth, but there's a lot of persons that cannot do that because that is how God made them. Persons are barren, persons are impotent, and they were made by God. So like I said, I don't really like to talk about religion and God because it is just so, some parts of it is contradicting, some part of it is confusing, and there's just a lot of intricacies. There's nothing written in stone. You understand? Some of us are able to conceive and some of us are not. I know a lady that had 8 miscarriages before she actually had her one son. 8 miscarriages, you know? So, and you have other people would go 8 times and have 8 picnic. The 8 of them came to farm. So it's just a lot of stuff. I'm really frustrated sometimes when I have to talk about these things because there's no, basically for me, there's no right or wrong answer. Really and truly. There's no right or wrong answer because everybody has a point. Everybody will interpret things as they wish. But back to the baby thing. People can choose to have kids or not. If persons want to have children, that is up to them. There should not be any pressure. I heard Miss Kitty talking about it. There shouldn't be any pressure for true. And T's local also spoke about it. There shouldn't be any pressure because to have a child has a lot to do. You have to be mentally stable, physically able to carry another human inside. You have to be emotionally stable as well because you will be pregnant and try to kill yourself. There is a thing called postpartum depression. That is when you have the child and you know have nothing to do with it. It is a thing, you know. Financially as well, children are very expensive, so people have to be able to financially provide because feeling that you have a child and you can't provide for them, you know. So to ask a person when the mother of a child is irrelevant and inappropriate, and you should never do it because you don't know of a person's financial status, their physical status. Can the person even carry a child? Do you even know if the person is able to bear children? Do you know the pain you can cause somebody that is barren when you ask them about children? Them can't have pitney, and not everybody want to tell you that because I think a lot of people believe that they're less than if they can't have kids. So you know with your enough self come ask, when you got pitney, not even knowing that this person can't have children. You could do damage. People should choose when they want to have kids. We don't decide for anybody. People are adults. If they want to have pitney, them have pitney. If they don't have pitney, then don't have no pitney. And that is just it. You know, ask somebody them question there. Tony?
Yeah, I mean, you said all the points that I want to say.
Okay.
So.
Alright, the other say, who is the man in the relationship? In the case of 2 men or maybe 2 women, those persons usually get that question. Who is the man in the relationship?
The man?
Hmm?
The fact that going for a lesbian, there's no man in the relationship, there are 2 females. Might be a person, one of the females might dress a particular way or decide that they want to play the man role, but at the end of the day,
role.
Yeah, the dominant role. But at the end of the day, there's no man within that relationship. They wouldn't ask 2 men who is a man. They maybe might ask who is a woman. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking that. So I mean, for that case, there's none. It's just that someone might be more masculine than one or more feminine than one. I mean, we
Or
might
they
have
might be,
two masculine person or two feminine person. You might never know.
It's
So I
okay.
mean, that's easy. That is not even an okay question to ask, I believe.
Alright, how do you have sex?
The same way everybody have
We'll
sex.
talk about this now one video already.
Yeah.
Same way everybody have sex, just use your imagination.
Yeah, same way.
That's the same way. Alright, I think we have done all our says, and so we're at the do's. So it says do not out people. So if you know that somebody is LGBTQIA+, don't out them. Make them come out for them own self. If they want to come out, people don't have to come out. You don't have to come out. People can stay wherever they want to stay. It all depends on their safety. They have to take into consideration their safety and other factors. Don't out nobody, because you don't know what you're doing when you do that. You might cause the person undue stress, cause them harm. Don't do that. People want to stay in the closet, let them stay. If you know somebody, just move on with their life. You don't out nobody.
I mean, that is not hard. I have one scenario recently where I think I blocked everyone from my work. And this one girl, I forgot to block the girl, and on Trans Day of Visibility, I posted, and the girl comment was like, "You're trans? Nice." And then she went on to say that I don't have to worry about, because it's not her secret to tell. And it's been past 1 week. It has been a couple days since, and she have not yet even we have not even have a conversation about anything. It's just like she never hear anything, and she just treat me the same way that she always treat me. So I mean, this is not that hard. If she can do it, everybody else can do it. It's just that person just choose not to.
Alright, the next do or don't assume persons are straight by default. Yeah, so I would have mentioned in a previous video that, you know, when you meet somebody, usually you ask the person, how do you identify? A lot of people did not agree with that. Them just want to talk to you based on what they see, and unfortunately it causes a lot of stress to persons who are trans trans, because trans can be gender non-conforming, gender fluid, whatever. So in an LGBT space, preferably or mostly, that is where you would ask somebody, how do you identify? And that's what I say. Don't assume, and don't say how is a girlfriend or how is a boyfriend. You can say how is a partner, because partner is neutral. I usually say partner. I never normally say once in a blue moon you will catch me as my boyfriend, because I don't want at the end of the day people to say, oh, you didn't tell me say a boyfriend. So I say my partner. You can't tell me somebody did I try to trick you, or I lied to you or anything like that, because I kept it neutral. My partner, and that's that. Don't assume that straight is not the default. Anything to say?
No.
Alright, the next do or don't discriminate. Don't judge a person because I'm LGBT. You have people who will just text it upon you because you're LGBT. Me LGBT, I'm a co-worker, is straight, and we're doing the same job. I'm a telephone operator, you're a telephone operator, and just because me LGBT, you treat the other person better off because you feel like they are first class citizens and I'm not. Don't discriminate, because you might be in trouble one day and the LGBT person come look out for you and come save you and come, you know, release you from certain things. Remember, the difference between LGBT people and traditional straight is just who we have sex with or how we identify, but everything else is human. Same blood, we have headache same way, fever, cough. Straight I catch COVID, LGBT, you know, we all over. We're doing it. We don't discriminate. Tony?
Yeah, she said everything. Don't discriminate. Discrimination is not nice, and I mean, anybody can go to discrimination, whether you are traditional straight or you're LGBT. You can be discriminated against a lot of things, right? Discrimination overall, you don't just go for LGBT persons. You go for everybody, and discrimination overall is not nice, and you should never discriminate a person, because you can be discriminated against also, and I'm sure you will not want that for yourself.
Don't isolate, scorn, or ignore LGBT people. So it ties in back with discrimination. You might know So for example, you are a service provider and somebody comes in to get service, but you know, so them LGBT based on how they present themselves, and you just not treat them fairly because of that. You would put somebody before them that was traditionally straight and, you know, make them get stronger about their business, but to give the LGBT person a hard life or harder, you know, just let them go. I'm LGBT and I mostly work with the traditional straights, and my sexuality now I'm not to do nothing. If you're straight, traditional straight or LGBT, if whoever come first and them first I get through. Nobody now getting a preference because of this that we just do it thing. Then you have some persons that will say, oh, you have to say, it's just a phase. Truth is, some persons identifying as straight was their phase. So don't ever say that to anybody. It's not your place to decide then what is a phase and, you know, when the phase should end.
And truth is, a lot of persons don't go through phases. It can sexuality is fluid. It can switch. You can identify as straight today and identify as bisexual tomorrow, and then all of a sudden you're identifying as a, that didn't mean that you were living a lie or you are not who you said you are. It's just that you grow, you find your likes and your dislikes changes, and therefore you change also. So
alright, so the last one is actually gonna find the right one yet. So for persons who have identified as traditional straight, you may be able to attest that probably you've had like 20 exes, you know, because you've just been dating around, and you know, the fact that you have 20 exes simply means that none of the persons was enough, or you know, it never work out, you know. It's the same thing with LGBT people, and we can have those realities as well. We can do it with 20 different people too, because there's nothing, and I like the way we come with tags and labels. We say, all right, for Tony, for Tiana. Sometimes we date persons based on looks and other different intricacies where that was never ever for us, or standards changed, or standards get higher or lower, or whatever the case. So yeah, irrelevant. Like, I don't really know how to expound more on that. I'm trying to find the right one yet. Anybody cannot find the right one yet. No straight people still out there to find the right one yet. And but yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. We hope you watched to this end.
if you did, comment and say
Keep calm. Yeah, keep calm. If you watch to the end, comment keep calm in the comment section so that we know that you are here with us for the 20 odd minutes that we made this video. Until next time, guys, this is your favorite LGBT activist.
What's said?
Saying peace, love, and blessings.
We're out.